Welcome back to the Small College Basketball Podcast. My name is Chris Cottrell, and with more than 10 years of small college basketball coaching experience and entering our third season of full coverage here on the Small College Basketball Podcast, this is the only podcast with interviews, news, and highlights that celebrates the incredible coaches, players, and programs across all of small college basketball, celebrating NCAA Division II, NCAA Division III, the NAIA, the NCCAA, and the USCAA. Small College Basketball would like to thank Visit Central Florida for their support of the podcast and the Small College Basketball Hall of Fame Classic. Start planning your Central Florida vacation now at visitcentralflorida.com. That's visitcentralflorida.com. Welcome back, everyone, to the Small College Basketball Podcast. Once again, Chris Cottrell with you here to celebrate the players, the programs, the coaches, and the history of small college basketball. A couple of really special guests today. Exciting to have them with us from the NAIA and Grace College. Head coach Scott Moore in his fifth season. Also proud to have Elijah Malone with us as well. So, Coach Elijah, thanks for being on the podcast. This is awesome. It's a busy time of year. We got Christmas, we got games. It's a busy time of year, but thank you guys for joining us today.
No, this is good, Chris. Thanks so much. It's been fun the last couple of years, just really diving into your guys' stuff. And I'm a small college basketball guy myself, right? I played at Grace and I grew up around it, and now coaching obviously back at my alma mater. And it's a special level, and it's obviously near and dear to my heart. And man, what a cool thing, what a cool gig we have, and get to coach people like this guy beside me. So it's good.
Yeah, I'm glad you're getting right into exactly what I want to talk about, because you're in your fifth year and you've had a ton of success. But one of my favorite questions to start off with, what is fifth year coach Scott Moore telling first year coach Scott Moore? Like, what's the one, and I like that Elijah's laughing too. What's the nugget you got for first year coach Scott Moore?
Well, you could ask him too, right? What's fourth year Elijah Malone? You could ask him that next. But well, I'll tell you what I would tell myself first is invest in a really good razor, because I had more hair 5 years ago. I didn't know it was gonna be so stressful. But I would say even more than that. So my 15th year overall, my fifth year as head coach, I had a great opportunity. For 3 years, I got to be an assistant with my older brother, who was at Mount Vernon Nazarene. So my twin brother and I got to play overseas a couple of years after Grace, and I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to get into coaching, but I always thought I'd be a high school coach, to be honest with you. I got back and ended up joining my brother's staff, and it was kind of one of those. He was a first-year head coach, and I was a 22-year-old head assistant. And I remember asking him specifically, like, "Hey, what do you want me to do? What's my job?" And he's like, "Dude, I don't even know what I'm doing. You're gonna have to figure it out." And I tell people all the time, like, literally since day one, that's what I've been trying to do, is figure it out for the last 15 years. So I would say, year 5, and honestly, Chris, is my approach has changed quite a bit. Like anyone else, we're competitive. We're all in this. We want to win, and you want to be on Sports Center, and you want to make a bunch of money and do this. But over that time, I've realized how less it is about me, and how more it is about these guys right here. And there's so many good coaches, and there's so many good programs, and there's so many good players that winning and losing games, if that's all it's about, then at some point I think we're going to be disappointed, right? Well, I know we're going to be disappointed. We've seen that. As a player, I saw it. As a coach, I've seen it, where man, we hang our hat on that, and it's going to let us down sooner or later. So we had a young man last year that unfortunately, as a freshman, ended up with cancer, and it was kind of a surprise to him, and obviously a shock to all of us. And so post COVID, I'm coming in as COVID was my first year, and then after that, and then all of a sudden I got this kid where he gets diagnosed with cancer, and those are things like that's coaching. The X's and O's and making practice and all that stuff. That's the easy stuff, but no one prepares you for that. And I think year 5, Coach Moore would tell my first year, like, hey, it's much more important to get to know and have a relationship with this guy sitting beside me than it is how can you help me win basketball games. And obviously that's important, but it's not what it's about at the end of the day. And the ball is going to stop bouncing sooner or later, right? We all know it. At some point I try to tell him, like, dude, you may be able to play this game for a long time, but a long time may be 7 years. And then all of a sudden you're going to be 30 years old. And now what? So, it's, I'm still learning. Year 5, haven't figured it out, obviously, but surround myself with good people, and obviously they can make you look a lot better than what you probably are.
There is a ton of truth to that, because I think the moment you stop trying to figure it out, like I'm in year 7 coaching high school, I did 12 years in college,
Yep.
like still trying to figure it out. No clue what I'm doing. I think if you feel differently, you're probably in a bad spot.
Yeah.
We're always trying to figure it out.
And really, you never want to be the smartest person in the room. And
right.
If you are, get a different room, because that's what you want to do is those who really want to be the best, and we're in a comparative world, and we're always comparing ourselves. These kids today, it does stink, but it's part of it is they got to get on their cell phone and they got to read about this person or that person, and everything is glorified and everything is kind of magic tricks, right? And it's hard for them not to take a look and say, well, this kid has this, or he did this, or she looks like that. And that's difficult. And I had the opportunity to meet Coach Wooden, before he passed, with my older brother, my twin. And I remember him spending a lot of time on that is, comparison is the thief of joy. And how can we truly look at ourselves and our situation and say, how can we be the best version of ourselves? And that's what John Wooden talks about. That's his version of success, right? And that's how he defines it. So, yeah, it's tough. It's tough today more than ever, but it all goes back to relationships, man.
Relationships trump everything, and I believe that wholeheartedly. So I think you're onto something. I mean, whatever you're doing for the last 5 years at Grace, getting better and still trying to figure it out. It's on the way. So congratulations on a great start. You're off to a really, really great season. When you took over, was there any pressure for you that you put on yourself coming in after Coach Jim Kessler, legendary coach, very successful? What was that transition like for you, especially at your alma mater, a place you care very deeply for?
Yeah, I think there's always pressure involved, but it probably wasn't as much as what people would make it out to be. I think, I was Coach's guy, and he was like a second father to me. And when I got the job, he was so vital in the transition period of like, look, the foundation is set. I knew I was walking in, I'm not stupid. I knew I was walking into a job that this is one of the best jobs in the country. My first head coaching job, and maybe my last, but I knew what I was getting the keys to. And he had spent, you don't spend 40 plus years in the same place, Chris, without doing something right. And that foundation was already there. Now I just got to take the basketball side of things. And I'll never forget the best advice that Jim Kessler gave me. Coach just pulled me aside and said, look, whatever you do, it's got to be you. And I would build a team that you'd want to play on. And I never forgot that. And from day one, 15 years ago, right, I'm looking at rankings like anybody else. Who's the best ranked Indiana players? Who's the best ranked Michigan players? How can I get those guys? How can I make a splash? And pretty quickly, I found out that, man, my eyes matter more than that person's eyes if I want this kid to join my program, because I'm with them every day. I'm coaching them every day. And I like to, this young man sitting beside me, Elijah had a lot of interest, but 2 offers, 2 legit offers out of college. And now there'd be 250 schools that would knock down his door just to join their team. But and you look at these kids and you say, man, that's a kid that I'd want to play with if I was still playing. And because of that, I think the pressure was more just outside, right? Outside noise. Once I kind of cut that off and just worried about my boys, it kind of put in place.
So you've referred to Elijah quite a bit, and I want to go to you for a minute, Elijah. You're off to a great start, just over 17 points per game, almost 9 rebounds per game. But we're talking about relationships. Describe your relationship with Coach Moore.
Yeah, I mean, me and Coach Moore have been together for 4 years now, going into 4 years. And, I mean, we've gotten closer every year. I see him as a mentor, look up to him a lot, just like spending time with him and his family outside of basketball. I can go to him about anything and get really good advice. So
it's an all-encompassing relationship. It's not just basketball.
no, it's not just basketball.
One of my favorite things was this summer was, he made the decision. I made a comment about, I really do believe you could be the best player in the nation. Now, with that comes a little bit more, like, you just can't show up and say, I'm the best, right? There's got to be more to it. So he decided to stay this summer on his own. He got a place, he got a job, and where he was able to work out every single day. But one of the cool things for me was I stole him for we got an old man's league in the summertime. We play. I told my brother, the other old guys, like, hey, I got a guy. Our team just got better. We don't have to run as far. We can just throw it inside. So, but my favorite part, Chris, was, it's about a 20-minute drive to where we play. And, that once a week, those 20 minutes, just me and him in the truck driving there and then driving back and not talking much about basketball. But that was so good for me, just getting a deep dive in, who he is as a person and what he wants to do in life and what's next. And like I tell all of them, there's nothing that you can do on the floor. There's not enough points you can score that's going to make me care about you more or less. I don't care if you never step foot in the game. I don't care if you're him. I care about the person you are, and that's never going to change. But that time was special. And obviously, you asked that question, what's fifth year, as opposed to the first year. I do a better job now of enjoying the moments, and I enjoy every single practice, every single moment. Like hotels, travel, I'm just enjoying, especially the 3 seniors that I have, because I know at some point I'm not going to write those names on the board anymore, and they're going to be doing better things. They're going to be doing, God's going to have them doing something spectacular. So that's pretty special to me.
One of the things that we remind our parents all the time at the high school level, especially, I think, is that your son's playing time has no bearing on how much we care. That's not the indicator of how much, especially at the high school level, how much coaches care. Like we are totally invested in kids and seeing them grow and seeing them get better. So I think the relationship piece is so important to building a program. I'm right there with you. And you talk about your relationship, Elijah. What does it sound like, and what does it feel like when coach coaches you hard, when he holds you accountable?
Honestly, it feels good, and just knowing that he's gonna hold me accountable. Like, I wouldn't want someone else to hold me accountable that's not actually gonna do it. So it's nice to have.
And let's have some fun. Give us your best Coach Moore story from like the truck. Let's get a good truck story from over the summer, or is there like a game clip you can give us a Coach Moore, like something that's like not betting, like not practice, not game.
What was your challenge? Where were we?
Phoenix.
Yeah. What was your challenge?
What did I have to do? We do this. This is stupid. We do this thing as a team. Anytime we go on Christmas trips or something like that, we do team challenges. So I'll always start it and I'll challenge one of the guys. And it's always dumb stuff. It can't be illegal and you can't get me in trouble or arrested. Yeah, but it's like, hey, when we go out to eat, you have to, order your food, and then every other sentence you have to bark like a dog. So just something stupid like that. And if they complete their challenge, then they get to ask whoever they want to do something else. And so I've done some dumb stuff in my life. They like making fun of me because I'm never turning it down.
Of course.
Bring it on, right? I'll do it right away and just get it done with. But yeah, we have some fun, man.
What did you learn about Coach Elijah? What did you learn about Coach you think that stands out to you?
Just how genuine he is. Like when you're getting recruited, you don't really like get to know them that well. So then like to finally get here and then be around him for 4 years and just like the things that he told me when I was a freshman, like you now see them translate to now. And so that's probably what it is.
Awesome. I love the relationship aspect of this, the small college basketball, road trips. I mean, you got a long Christmas break coming up. All these things go into relationship building and program building. But let's talk about your program. 31-4 last season, go to the Elite Eight, deepest tourney run since they went to one division. Crossroads regular season champions, tournament champions. Crossroads, one of the elite leagues in NAIA. What were the expectations coming into this year, maybe for you, Elijah, and for Coach? What were the expectations? And then, where are you at right now? 11-0. What's the state of the team?
Yeah, it's I have a team that's super competitive, and I think that's something that you either have it or you don't. And we recruit it. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I spent a lot of time. One thing that I've changed over my course of being an assistant, now being a head coach, is, man, we don't spend a lot of time coaching or recruiting kids who don't win basketball games, because I love the kids who, we have multiple state champions on our team, guys who don't get beat very often. When they do get beat, it bothers them and they do something about it. And there's something about that it's hard to breed in when they're 22, right? So, man, our practices, like, I've had to kind of take them down a level. He's laughing because he knows, like, someone's going to get killed. And like, guys, believe it or not, we are wearing the same jersey. I know you're on different teams, and it's every day. But I also like that because they do bring out the best, and I can always back it down. But, man, it's hard to rev up, right? So, the success and walking into this year, the expectation never changed. I'm not a goal guy. I know that sounds terrible because you're supposed to have goals. My goals remain the same every year. Now the approach may change. I may not have him, and it may look different, but we want to hang a banner. We want to win the Crossroads League. We feel like if we can compete and win the Crossroads League, it'll give us a good chance to make a tournament run. And, we knew we were going to be preseason highly ranked, and all that stuff comes with it. But the best part about it was I was worried a little bit about complacency and just walking in saying, okay, 31-4, like 31 wins, that's a lot of games to win, right? And it's really easy just to fast forward to March. And, man, was I wrong from day one. It's like, I'm looking around and all of them, we didn't win our last game. We got beat. Georgetown sent us home. And we did not get to play in that final game. And that's a big goal for me and for him and for the rest of his teammates. And so being complacent was never going to be an issue, even though I thought it might be. So I'm trying really, really hard, and the guys have done a good job. Not only is it a game by game, but is it a day by day? And I'll let them know when I think their days aren't very good. But our goal obviously continues to remain. We got to be better today than we were yesterday. We had a great practice yesterday, and I thought it was the best one we've had all season. And so we're going to play Cornerstone tomorrow, who's obviously a really well-storied program with Kim Elders, and they've been, national champs multiple times. And so I think we just have those type of kids that they're not looking ahead to what's next. They're looking ahead to Cornerstone, and that's what matters right now. At least I hope so, right?
Yeah. Elijah, what do you think? What were your expectations coming into this season?
I mean, our goal is to win a championship and be the number one team in the country. So we're not going to stop shooting for that until we complete it. So.
All right. Very good. And you've got a game coming up. You said tomorrow, one more before holiday break. You've got about 10 days, I think 11 days of holiday break. Coach, what does the next 48 hours look like for your team? like kind of what your routines are as a coaching staff, your routine for the players. What are you doing to get ready for the game and then post game, kind of getting into the holiday break?
Yeah, it's, our job. I tell my coaching staff, I got a great coaching staff, man. That's one thing that I can't say enough is it's hard to do this job. I mean, it's impossible to do it on your own and be successful, right? I think there's so much going on, and I am a relationship guy. I would much rather take E out and sit down and go to dinner and talk life and, his girl and classes and stuff like that than I would, hey, let me show you the new offensive set we have. It's just not how I'm wired. This is going to shock you. People think I'm crazy. I like basketball. I don't love basketball. I like it. But, man, I love these guys. And basketball gives me an opportunity to do what I love. So my assistants and I always tell them our job is to prepare these guys as much as we can leading up to game day. And once game day, I got to get out of the way. And, when all these guys were freshmen, they've kind of grown up with me here. I had to do a little bit more. I'm controlling a little bit more and kind of have the reins a little bit more. But as you see, as I get older, the best teams are when these guys are doing what they're doing and we're out of the way. And I'm starting to see that more and more. So starting tomorrow after shoot around, Coach Moore is just kind of, I'm there, but I'm kind of in the background, and that's the way it needs to be. I need to become a little less, and guys like Elijah need to take the reins a little bit more. And at this point, they kind of know my expectations, and they know where we're at as a program and what I expect from them from a day to day and how to carry themselves. And I tell them every game, look, we're going to win the right way. We're going to lose the right way. And we're going to win a lot of games. But even if we don't, we are going to lose the right way. And if someone beats us, then someone's going to have to beat us. We're not going to beat ourselves. We're not going to pout. We're not going to be sore losers. We're going to stand up and we're going to shake it off and we'll move on to the next day. Because win or lose, it's rinse and repeat. To show up tomorrow, watch a little film, figure out how we can get better, give them a little bit of break. And the best part about the break now, Chris, is 5 years ago, Coach Moore's texting and hey, send me videos and send me pictures and make sure you're in the weight room and this, and just I'm trying to hold them accountable. I don't have to do it anymore. They will show up, and when we get back on the 27th, post-Christmas, we'll do some conditioning stuff and we'll get right into practice because conditioning has been taken care of. They've been doing it over break.
Yeah, Elijah, what are the next, 48 hours like for you as a player and the guys on your team, your teammates?
I'll probably
board games.
Yeah, our team is really big into board games, so they're all gathered together, playing board games, and probably got a game on. I know Carter's probably got some game on, and not like Michigan State versus Purdue. They're watching NAI games. I got the nerdiest. I love it. They're watching Huntington play right now in Arizona, right? They're watching Olivet Naz play, and I love it. Like, that's how I was as a player. And now it's funny just because I have a player. He's right. They're probably sitting in their dorm just watching NAI basketball, and they'll text me like, hey, did you see the Arizona Christian game? Like, we don't even play Arizona Christian. What are you talking about? We played them last year. But it's awesome, man. Yeah. So I'll probably go join them after this and get up in the morning. We'll have shoot around, and then just lock into the game, watch the girls game before us to doubleheader, and then
tell them what tomorrow is. It's gonna be fun.
Oh, tomorrow is elementary day, so a bunch of kids are coming in out of school. They're getting out of school. They go on a field trip, and they're gonna come watch us play tomorrow.
When he says a few, he means 1,500.
That's a ton of elementary kids.
Elementary kids.
That is a lot of elementary kids. That's awesome.
We've done some cool stuff, Chris. We've been in Oregon. We played at Purdue. This will be one of the coolest things. Is just when you're on Christmas break, you're searching for energy, right?
Oh, yeah.
Play at a beautiful facility, but with a few people in it, it can get quiet. And with 1,500 kids, it'll be as loud as you can imagine. So it's going to be awesome.
So I have two final questions for you, and the first one is basketball. The second one is not. So the first one is one of the most interesting statistics that I've seen so far is You and Grace lead the country with 22 assists per game. So there's two parts of that. There's obviously great decisions being made, and you got great guys receiving the basketball that can score. But what are you telling your team that gets them to share the ball like that?
Yeah, well, everybody needs a philosophy. I think that's the start of coaching, and I would tell this to any coaches. We're all trying to do the same thing, and obviously fair is not equal. Some have a lot of money, some don't have a lot of money, some have great facilities, some don't, some are in cold Indiana, some are down in sunny Florida. But for me, when coach made that comment about, hey, make sure you recruit players that you would want to play for and play with, then I kept that to heart. So I was a good player. I wasn't a great player, but I was one of those kids where, look, I didn't care. I could score 2, I could score 7, I could score 20. As long as we win, I could care less. And I've tried really hard to build our team around that mentality. And I will say this: we're not for everybody. You read the statistics off for Elijah to start here. He's almost 18 a game. He's almost 10 rebounds a game. I mean, he could average 28 and 15, but he plays 25 minutes a game. And now when I need him to, he'll play 30, 35. He can do that. But I'm a big believer in depth, size, length, and I think we have one of the deepest teams in the country. I got a kid who I think is an All-American, who's our 6th man, comes off the bench. And it just so happens that this kid is still here. And when he leaves and he goes on, then next year, everyone's going to be like, where the heck did this kid come from? It's like, well, no, he's been here. He's just accepted, look, I'm okay with winning a lot of games, and scoring 10 points. We try to get as many guys as we can in double figures. And I always thought that, look, if you can stop if you can stop Jacob Gibbs, I mean, who cares? Because Jake Wadding can have 20, Cade can have 20. We got 2 freshmen right now that both of them could start for a lot of teams, and they're coming off the bench and playing, 12 minutes for us. And so that's my philosophy. My philosophy has always been, I'll never, ever, ever recruit a kid. He knows this. I never told him that I'm not promising you're going to start. I'm not even promising you're going to play. I'm recruiting you, so I think you're good, and I think that you have something that fits what we're trying to do. I'll promise you one thing. I'll promise that I will love you. That's it. And if you want to join something that I think is a little bit bigger than just yourself, then I think we can do some great things. And we've been able to, but it's been because of them. So, I do get frustrated sometimes. I'm not a mean guy by any means, but it does drive me nuts when, people look at statistics and they judge the talent or the person on because he averages 17 and 9, and he averages 17 and 9 because his coach doesn't play him enough. But also his coach wants to win a lot of games, and he knows that. And when I need him to play 35, and and he'll get 30 and 15, and he knows that. But he's also the reason, because of that, because of Ian Scott, because of Jake Wadding and the twins and Graber and all these guys that come in that's why we're winning 30 games. It's uncommon. And today's world, Chris, too, on top of that, is leaving, right? If you're not happy, you bounce. And these kids they're not dumb. Like, the worst thing that we can do is paint a picture and have them show up in August and go, man, that's nothing like coach said it was going to be like. Like, what this is, that we are who we are. So when I pitch it, hey, do you want to join this? Because this is who we are. This is what we are. This is how I am as a coach. If you want to be a part of it, then we want you to be a part of it. And then you just get loyal kids. This year, last 2 years, this guy sitting beside me has had a lot of opportunities to leave. He's not saying NAI player. There's a lot of talented NAI players, obviously, but he's a high major player. He could play high major, and high major schools reached out. And I can't tell you why. He's going to have to tell you. You can ask that question to him, but there's a reason why he stuck around, and there's a reason why I think he's one of the best, if not the best players in the country. And there's also a reason why he's going to make a lot of money playing a silly basketball game but it's because he's loyal and it's because he does it the right way, and he's going to be successful because of that.
Elijah, you want to follow up on that and talk about why you trust Coach so much?
Yeah, I mean, I had a lot of sit down conversations with him in his office, and just about life, not even about basketball or where next was. Just sat down, got to have a lot of conversations with him, and I mean, my loyalty here is just to him and my team. Like, it's a family here, right? Like, those guys are my brothers at the end of the day, and there's no one I'd rather play next to than those guys, and that's why I've been here. So.
All right, so you're talking about your family. Last question. Tell us about this Christmas party you just came from. I heard there was a Christmas party tonight, so you got to tell us about the Christmas. I'm going to let Elijah take this one. Tell us about the Christmas party, Elijah.
Man, that was a blast. It was a blast. The food was great. The shout out to the Sycophuses. That's one of the guys on our team. We went over to his house. Ate really, really good food. And then we had a gift exchange where we all had like a $10 spending limit, and we all went out, got each other gifts.
We won't talk about some of the gifts.
Yeah, some of them are about some inside jokes and stuff. But it was a great time, just the fellowship. Because I mean, you can just sit around with our team for just hours and not even notice. So
I love the family atmosphere. I love the relationships that you're talking about with Coach Moore. And I got to thank you guys for doing this. This is a busy time of year. Like we talked about, you've got a game coming up tomorrow, holiday break coming up. So to both of you, thank you. Enjoy your time. Enjoy the holidays, a little bit of time off, and then right back at it in the Crossroads League. Obviously, no rest for the weary. But thank you guys so much for your time tonight.
Yeah, for sure, Chris. And thanks for everything that you guys do. I know, obviously, you and McCartney, man, just the Bevo Francis stuff. The Hudgens Award was an awesome idea. I think that's going to be really, really cool. Man, what a player, what a program that was. And enjoy listening to all the coaches speak and just learn stuff every single week, man. It's so cool just to be a part of a fraternity that is pretty special. And it's awesome to be a part of and be able to coach guys like him.
Yeah, well, we're glad to have you guys. We're glad to shine a light on Elijah and on your program and Grace. So happy holidays. We're taking a week off from this episode. We're coming back after the holidays. But thank you to Coach Scott Moore from Grace and Elijah Malone from Grace. Good luck the rest of the season and happy holidays.
Awesome. Thanks, Chris.